Everything in astrology is such a code that can be opened to a lot of things, to a lot of knowledge, to a lot of things to look in. And I was wondering if you can enlighten me about a place in astrology that seems so deep for me. I'll tell you a bit about it and what I think about it, and then I would love to hear what you have to say about it. And subject is a subject you're very close to. It talks about children and family in our early age and how it affects the rest of our lives. So in astrology there is a place that is called the fourth house. In astrology there are different sections for each part of our lives. And the fourth house talks about the childhood of a person. But not only that, it talks about the emotional prints of a person. It talks about when a person becomes an adult, what kind of parent he would be. And in a very interesting thing, it has a lot to do, of course, with another part of the chart, which has to do with marriage, and another part of the chart that has to do with work and the way we work, because these are two opposite parts of the map, our family and our work. So I was wondering if you could elaborate about that, how all these things connect and why is it so important, and what you see with the work you do in education with children and about that area. It's a huge area.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. It's like running through the big field that is not yet full of wheat or something that you can't step on. It's like really running free. And it seems to me that this is also the state of children in this age, that they really run free. Nothing limits them. We limit them as parents, and as parents we need to be very aware of safety, but a lot of other things are really possible for them to try to discover by themselves with our assistance, because children in young age, they born very ready, in a state of readiness. And we can see how they are researched by themselves. It's not scientific, as we call it, with a group of how do you say? Comparison group. It's a research. It's a humankind research, which really open them to grasp many things. And the most important things in this age, after safety of the child, and we will speak about it because it's a very important issue, is to open the channel of their brain, of their feeling, of their faculty, their wonderful faculty. And if they get limited by don't touch the mud, it makes you dirty. actually, we can clean your skin, but we can't clean the beautiful dress or whatever you're wearing. And don't touch this because it will make you, this and this and the other. We limit them and their capacity of research for their own faculty from this day on until the end of their life will be limited.
Yes. You say that and it clicks to me to something that the fourth house in astrology has to do with the water out of the four elements, and the water in their most active form.
Yes.
And it means that maybe that during childhood we're supposed to be very free, very, very, very fluid.
Yes.
It's a part, and
Yes.
water represents our emotions as well, and feelings.
Water always go to the lowest place. They always find a way to go to every place. And low, it doesn't mean low in level. So one of the amazing behavioral patterns of water is to go to reach everywhere. They go into the middle of the stone. They go into very deep places. And this is something that is very typical to the way children learn. They go into things that we really, as adults, we became very like elephant skin to very little things. Children pay attention to things that we don't have any more clue because we become like having elephant skin. Nothing against elephants, yes? But learning and researching is like when a child touches something, we can say, he touched, let's say, an apple. But actually, he feels the apple. He actually feels what's inside the apple. He feels where this apple was growing. He feels the smooth or the hard of the skin. He feels if you want to have it, if you need to have it or not. He feels so many things, and this open channel in his brain and open not only in his brain, in his whole capacity. And if we limit him by only give him, the ready-made apple when we grain it, and we never show him this is an apple, this is what you can eat now because of safety, but when you grow up you will be able to eat the whole apple. He doesn't know where it's coming from. You only get it industrial. He doesn't get it the way, natural way. And we as humans, as parents, we limit the children very much. We don't let them because we think we know better than them. But we don't want to be limited in our research. And I'm not speaking about jumping from the fourth floor to see if you can fly. Because things about adults that they know sometimes about safety. But we need to put other consideration aside to let the child to observe life and to discover the importance of things, the value of things and what it can be good for. And so on many other things. Now when we say open the channel, it's really interesting because we can say, like there is a channel on Road 6 in Israel, that they take you from one place to another. But what about cross channels? That they actually like metrics, create metrics. So if you deal with touching the apple, let's say, in one channel to do with food, in another channel is to do with sensation. In another channel it's to do with vitamins, observing the vitamins. In another channel it's to do with the weight of the fruit and the color of the fruit, the frequency of the color, and so many other things. So it's like crossing channels, like the highway in big cities, but it's to do with our brain, our emotional, and the whole big computer of our system that later on it's a media of connection. So childhood, if we have it right, the soul will take part in something enormous, the emotion will take part, the intuition, the yes brain and the no brain, everything will take part in it. And later on it will be a media of connection. So a child will be able to connect to his house of 4, naturally so. He doesn't need to dip into books, he will have it intuitively because he did enormous research when he was a child.
Yes.
If it's coming,
It so exactly fits astrology. I'm hearing everything, it's amazing, and I also translate it into astrology. So the fourth house is one of the three houses that has to do with water. And this is the water at play, to be everywhere, to express our emotions, our feelings. And the higher options of it really include like the 8th house that has to, and the 12th house that has to do with intuition and connection, and connection to the higher things. So it's like the basic thing that a person should have.
Yes.
In order to later on connect to higher things.
So it's house number 4, and there is 3,
8 and 12.
Yeah, which means 3 double 4, and 12. So this is a house of intuition, 12.
Yes.
For example.
Yes.
Now we think that water they can be either liquid, gas, or ice. But what about if we look now outside and we see the clouds? What state are they? Because there is research that doesn't know how clouds form up. And maybe they are in a plasma state because they are changing all the time.
Yes.
So maybe we need to look at water to have a new dimension that was closed from our eyes, and now every time we look at cloud, it's like, wow, what state is it? Because flower is a flower, apple is an apple. It's like the human, we can become so many other things, but keep the core standard of our life.
Yes, yes. It takes me to the area, really not limiting a child to a specific thing, because they're very, very fluid. They can be anything they want in the future.
If we limit them later on, and if we give from our, when we respond to them about a drawing that they did, we say, it's very nice, like, I need to go back to my computer or something like this. It can close the channel, it can really close the gate. And there is many children that come to where I'm visiting in many places in the world, and they said, no, I can't draw, and I can't touch pencil. I said, are you allergic? And they said, no, but because I got remarked when I was a child. And this can start really when they are 2 years old or before.
Yes.
And if we really encourage them and draw with them and let them experience this, not on the walls, yes? I know some people let their children paint on all the house. It's their decision. But I think children should understand that there is a place, like there is a place to eat, there is a place to draw, there is a place to sleep, there is a place to work with different colors. So really to give them the ways and means of what they will need to know later on, but encourage them. And if we say a yoga class for children, or music school, or music kindergarten, we limit them because they're still in a stage of opening. And not focusing and closing.
So even if you say, hey, you're a great painter, you are a painter, then you limit them in another way. Instead of closing the door, you're opening the door, but saying, hey, this is your room. And you can't experience anything else.
And if you put this picture, it doesn't matter if it's really the most, Van Gogh one, you just give them the place to collect them. And encourage them, and always leave in the house a corner with colors and pencils and beads and all kind of, not only for the child to do, because we are also children. Sometimes we just like to play with colors. And sometimes I do this workshop of parents and children paint their house, imagery house, like dream house. And some parents come to me and they said, we never painted with our children. We never. And this is a great sharing. But I'm speaking about it, it's a core understanding. to let them hear different music, to go in different nature, to go on the path, on the road which is flat, to go on a little mountain, to go on the rocks, to touch water, to touch leaves. Leaves of a salvia and leaf of a rose feel completely different.
Mm-hmm.
This builds a whole sensation life which is very accurate in the child.
Mm-hmm.
Smell of different plants, tea plants or other plants is very different.
Yes.
And if we encourage children only open their channel by looking at things and not touching them and not explore them, we limit one's senses and the rest become dormant and will not be active in a moment of need.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can have a sense of smell that will be like our guard and will tell us, don't touch this plant, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But if we didn't develop this sense, it's actually go to sleep.
Yes.
So who can wake him up?
Yes. I want to touch another painful, because things are on one hand amazing and beautiful, and on the other hand very painful, because most of the people didn't grow up like what should be, like the optimal state. And then and I wanted, maybe if you can elaborate, because you said if people come and say, hey, I have an experience from when I was 2 years old, 4 years old, and it continues to life. So in astrology, one of the things that I can definitely see is that the fourth house is the basic emotional prints of a person, and thinking about water, that they hold memories.
Yeah.
So this is actually what we put in our water for the rest of our lives, and we continue to echo the same things that they were put in when they were young.
Yes.
So maybe you can say about maybe the mechanics of it, or how it happens that the young age is so meaningful to the rest of their life, actually.
Yeah, well, young age is so soft. We know that even the bones of a baby is still so soft. You can't compare it to a bone of a person. Mm-hmm. We can't. So everything is so delicate and soft. And everything needs really carefulness and understanding the reason why. We can be upset from work, which is another house.
Yes,
but from our marriage.
That it affects the fourth house.
Yes.
People take work and it affects how they handle their family, for example.
Yeah.
And how we grew up affects how we will be productive or non-productive, or committed or not committed in work. This
That's
is something
right. That's
we
right.
see from astrology. It's amazing.
Yes.
All interconnected.
So does working with computer in a most famous company having something to do with our little child that really need the love and the care at the moment? We need to know that we are made out of many, many parts. There is a great part of work which is very important, but there is a great part to do with our children, which we took a decision to bring them to this world. It just didn't happen by coincidence. And this needs pre-thinking in advance, if we are ready for it. And then to know really to live at work, and to come home at home. Yeah, and you see, water can engrave a stone. Water are engraving big stones. But on this, there is another quality of water which they are cleaning. So if we engrave, let's say, wrong response to our children, and we pay attention and we say, okay, why did it happen? Let's reason it out. Let's next time try to think better for a long-term projection and not only for short-term of our impulsive reaction. This can help a great deal of cleaning, because water clean. So we can clean the engraves and say to the child, listen, last time we weren't patient with you. It's happened because we had trouble at work. But this time I want to be patient with you. This is how we can really heal and give different platform and well-being to the child, so he will be safe to try again. And he will not feel that he has fears from our response. So the engraving, the cleaning and the embossing of something new can happen. And with all what I say, many times we got really hard, difficult life at the beginning. But it's not an excuse for anything. It's just like standing on a rock and be able to fly from this and not say, oh, I had a bad childhood, which happened many times in these days. But it's not an excuse. Yes. We know today that many children that fail when they were children, instead of only succeed, or success, they actually engrave in themselves, in their assembly, the willpower to try again, and the willpower to try again. And this is something is really important, like a child learning to walk. He fall, he stand up, he walk. He fall, he stand up. And if as parents we don't let them fall, we don't let them play in the playground because we think something will happen then, we actually put them in a tzemar in a cotton. I think we don't look to the future. We only look at the now. And there is expression of being a Polish mother. In the Jewish tradition is like being so careful with them. We need to be careful, but also to let them try. So the house of four becoming something that they strengthen their assembly. And therefore they get in touch with the house of marriage. Yes. They will be able to overcome every little accident that happened in the family. Because we are two people, like two different worlds, meet in one little house or big household. And of course we will have a lot of things we don't understand. But if we have the assembly to try again, to speak about it, to ease the pressure, and the same at work, we will be able to overcome it. So this triangle of what you describe will be a triangle of open and progression, and not limiting and stopping.
There are only another million questions that rise from that I would love to ask you, but for now I think it's a good deep dip into the waters of the family house, the fourth house.
Yeah, because without water, think about the plants without water, the planet without water, us without water, we're made out of 80% of water. And if we see the effect of the quality of the water, when the water let them remember something of value. I'm not saying good or bad, something of value.
Thank you.
Welcome. Let's get into another million questions.
Yes.
There is no answer, only some responses and clues.
Yes.